You ever notice how the real wars don't start with a bang, but with a look? The kind of look that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up? That's how it all began with Karen. I'd lived on that land 15 years, my sweat, my boots, my grandfather's ghost practically wandering the fields at dawn. I thought I knew every inch of it, every shade of the grass, every stubborn rock my tractor had ever thumped over. But I didn't know how deep the roots of greed could grow until the day Karen started walking the fence line, clipboard in hand, grinning that tight little HOA smile like she was measuring me for a casket. At first it was almost funny. She'd stand there in her pastel sneakers, muttering about community green space health, poking at the dirt, sometimes with some guy in hiking boots who looked about as comfortable as a banker at a barn dance. I saw her scoop a bit of soil into a Ziploc one morning, swear to God, like she thought she was on CSI, Suburbia. I called out, "Everything all right out there?" And she spun around so fast you'd think she'd found uranium. "Just checking pH for the HOA," she sang. And I just nodded. Because when you grow up around people who like to push boundaries, you learn early not to give them anything to push against. I figured it would blow over. But you know what they say. Give some folks an inch, they'll show up with a backhoe. Next week, there's two men in vests and hard hats, parked in a plain white van, standing at the edge of my field and pointing like they were planning a strip mall. "We're with Goldra Geotech, just surveying for infrastructure," they said. "Infrastructure? For who?" HOA gave us the map. I said, "Unless the map comes with my name on a permission slip, you can keep on driving." They packed up and left, but something about the way they looked back made it clear. This wasn't the end, not even close. That night, I dug through every deed, plat map, and easement paper I owned, spread them across the kitchen table like cards in a high-stakes poker game. County had no new permits, no city calls. Whatever Karen was up to, she was running it off the books. And let me tell you, I know the smell of greed. Once it gets in the air, you can't scrub it out with all the lemon-scented cleaner in the world. Next morning, Karen's got a new sidekick, guy in a tan blazer and sunglasses, talking low, pointing at my east field. By noon, there's a shiny environmental bulletin on my door, HOA seal and all, warning about a Zone 3A survey. Newsflash, there is no Zone 3A, never was. That's when the old stories came back. My granddad used to claim there was gold under the barn, little flakes in the quartz. As a kid, I thought he was full of it. Just an old man trying to make chores sound magical. But now, with Karen lurking and men with ground-penetrating radar sniffing around, I started to wonder if maybe the joke was on me. The next round wasn't subtle. A whole convoy rolled up at sunrise, rental flatbeds, a bobcat with a drill, men unloading gear like they had a deadline from God. I hit record on my phone before I even got my boots on. "You're trespassing," I barked, but they barely blinked. "We have orders from the HOA." I circled, camera rolling, voice calm, Army training. Kicks in when your blood wants to boil. Name, time, activity, all going to the sheriff. That did the trick. They packed up, but the clipboard guy slipped me a tip before he left. Karen had paid a rush, handed over coordinates, said something about gold. Not just rumors, she was after a payday. I pulled out the envelope my grandfather left me, hands shaking. Inside, his old hand-drawn map. A red X right where the diggers had set up. On the back, a scribbled note. Quartz outcrop. 1942. Gold flake. Keep quiet. I realized then, Karen wasn't just nosy, she was hunting, and she'd turn the whole HOA into her own prospecting crew if I let her. I called the sheriff, old buddy from my Army Reserve days. He said, "If they step foot again without your okay, that's trespass. If they dig, it's criminal mischief. Document everything." So I did. Trail cams, photos, even a long lens shot of Karen sneaking around with a metal detector at night, flashlight bobbing as she scanned my hayfield. Like a pirate looking for buried loot. Then the real twist hit. A newsletter slipped into my inbox, buried in HOA fluff about flower beds and driveway colors. Exciting new initiative. Sustainable mineral resource mapping may occur on select HOA-adjacent properties. Adjacent? That's lawyer talk for, not really ours, but we'll try it anyway. Next thing you know, glossy yard signs pop up. Protect our community resources, even one staked right across my property line. I yanked it out, threw it in the barn. That night, old Jim Withers from 3 doors down knocked on my door. clipboard in hand, looking sheepish. Karen says you agreed to the soil participation thing. Just need your signature. I took the form. Legal nonsense. Jim, don't sign this. And tell everyone else. 2. He looked relieved. Next morning, my warning flyers were gone, but neighbors started texting, furious about unannounced soil crews in their gardens. The tide was turning. At the HOA meeting, I wore my old Army shirt, ribbons and all. When the mineral rights agenda came up, I spoke. Before we talk minerals, let's talk property. Karen tried to stare me down, but her knuckles were white. On the table, I laid out the map, the videos, the trespass, the fake committee. One board member finally snapped and called for an audit. Karen tried to play it off as slander, but she'd lost the room. Afterward, I filed everything with the county and sent copies to a contact at the Department of the Interior, old Army buddy now with land management. Within a week, a federal agent named Langley was in town. She told me to keep documenting, keep quiet. Sure enough, another crew showed up after dark, drilled a core, loaded it up. I caught the whole thing on video, sent it straight to Langley. Received. Initiating next phase, she replied. Next day, a drilling rig the size of a house rolled up at dawn, right over that old red X. The foreman tried to wave a phony HOA permit. I filmed every second, equipment, faces, GPS pins. Sent it all to Langley. 10 minutes later, black SUVs rolled up, federal badges flashed. Shut it down. They did. Karen's name was on every invoice. Every payment routed through fake companies and shell accounts. Turns out her cousin was running one of the consulting firms, Classic. Neighbors flooded the HOA clubhouse, demanding answers. Benji, the quietest board member, handed me a folder, bank statements, invoices, enough proof to sink Karen's whole operation. That weekend, the neighborhood flipped. Petitions, online forums. People talking on porches. Trust was gone, but so was the fear. The feds raided the HOA, Karen's house, the whole 9 yards. She was arrested in a suit, face drawn, cuffed and silent. Neighbors actually cheered. Not out of spite, just relief. Langley told me it was fraud, resource theft, wire fraud. The board resigned one by one. Amanda, the mom who started the petition, hugged me at the potluck we held after the dust settled, thanked me for not giving up. A month later, Karen took a plea. 4 years, fines, banned from holding HOA office for life. Her statement? I underestimated the farmer. Damn right, she did. Spring came, and the first open HOA election was held under federal supervision. Benji ran and won. He asked if I wanted a seat. No thanks. I said, I plant things. I protect what's mine. I don't do PowerPoints. We laughed, and as I watched the sun set over my field, I knelt where the red X used to be. The real gold isn't in the ground. It's in standing your ground. And that, folks, is how you turn a hostile takeover into a community wake-up call. So tell me, what would you have done? Ever seen an HOA cross the line? Drop your thoughts below. Who's right? Who's wrong? What's justice in a place where neighbors become adversaries? Hit like if you've ever stood up for something that mattered. Share your story. And don't forget, sometimes the quietest people dig the deepest.